Fortnite creepypastas. Who doesn't love a good scary story? Well, turns out all of you guys adore them dearly, and that's why we're back with the top 10 Fortnite creepypastas part 3. We've got a great selection for you guys this time around, and even a sequel story from one of our original ones that we talked about in our part 1 list. As always, please go check out the individual channels of each of these storytellers to see more creepypastas from them. Alright, so with that in mind, let's get to it, guys. Number 10, Hearing Things. Starting off our list is a creepypasta from the biggest Fortnite creepypasta storyteller on YouTube, currently, FlipTheScript. In this one, our protagonist tells us how he and his buddy Brent left playing Fortnite together. While solos were fun, playing duos was amazing. They had great teamwork and chemistry, and they kicked some serious butt. They even wanted to start playing competitively. Unfortunately though, Brent had died in a tragic accident and was hit by a drunk driver. Our protagonist struggled a lot through this time, and when Brent's mother was going through her son's things, she gave our protagonist Brent's Fortnite limited edition headset as a gift, telling him that Brent would have wanted that, and that he's the only one who deserves to have it. He decided to use it and played a solo game in Fortnite. It was like the headset was a good luck charm, and he was killing it. And it was like he had a piece of Brent still with him, and that was really comforting. It helped him cope. After a few more games though, something odd began to happen. He kept hearing strange noises, like breathing, even though no one was in his party and he was playing solos. He examined the headset but nothing looked out of the ordinary. So he reset his Xbox, and everything went back to normal. But as soon as he loaded up the game again and entered a match, he heard the breathing again, and the sound of someone saying the word hello over and over again. It sounded like Brent. Eventually he called out saying, "Brent?" And the voice responded saying, "What's up, man? How have you been?" They carried on a conversation for a bit, and Brent manages to answer all of his questions that only Brent would know the answers to. That night, our protagonist has a nightmare of Brent being hit by the drunk driver. He wakes up and hears noises coming from the headset even though his Xbox is turned off. The voice tells him to go to the spot where Brent died, so he does. He drives over, and that's when he sees a ghost that looks like Brent. That's when our protagonist is hit by a car himself. He comes to and hears a voice that says, "Stay away." Moving on to number 9, Squads. This creepypasta by YouTuber Mr. Gruesome tells of a gamer who was playing with his best friends in real life, working together as a squad. Around mid-season 4, something strange started to happen though. That morning, our protagonist hopped on Fortnite to discover his pals were already online. So they went on squads together and began to play. The first match was fine, and they had a great game. So they played a second one. This time though, in the lobby, something odd occurred. Everyone aside from their group was wearing the default skin. Thinking it was a bug or a glitch, they just shrugged it off. They hopped off at retail and then began to loot and get resources. No one else was around. They made their way out of retail and bam! That's when they saw their first player, wearing that default skin. They began to build, and our protagonist and this other unknown player started to shoot at one another. That's when our protagonist began to feel pain in real life, a burning and stinging sensation. He managed to knock the other player out even though he was aching. Luckily, the pain eventually faded. His pals over mic asked if he was okay and he told them yes, so they continued to play. That's when one of his friends noticed something weird. The game still said that there were 99 people left alive. Then they looked to the horizon and saw dozens and dozens of default skins coming towards them. Utterly confused, the squad started to build for protection. The default started firing. One by one, his pals were killed off. Somehow, our protagonist managed to survive, with only 5 health left. Frustrated, he left the match. He was once again feeling that immense pain, the burning and itching sensation. Into the mic, he exclaimed, "Guys, that was crazy." But no one answered him back. He tried texting them and calling them, but still no answer. He decided to head on over to one of their houses instead. But as he got there, the house was in chaos. An ambulance was parked outside and his friend's family were freaking out. Turns out, his friend had died while playing in the game. And it wasn't just this friend, it was all of them who were in the squad, except him. In at number 8, you hear that? This creepypasta comes from YouTuber Big Mama Eternal. It tells the story of a 15-year-old girl named Annie, who at the start of the tale is found in her room by her mother, surrounded by blood and debris. Her room has been trashed, all of her toys have been disfigured, and stuffed animals have been decapitated. Annie tells her mom that the singing ghost girl Lily from the game was responsible. So, how did this come to be? Well, before her room was trashed, Annie was playing Fortnite. She had heard a rumor about a ghost in the game and decided to check it out, thinking that it wasn't real. Playing a solo game, she eventually found this ghostly entity, and it began to talk to her. Rather than address her by her username, SweetLover27, the ghost called her by her real name, Annie. The ghost asked her, "How many lives do you get if you die in real life?" Freaked out, Annie tried to unplug her Xbox. Even with the cord unplugged, the system in game wouldn't turn off. That's when she saw one of her friend's avatars. But they didn't look like they normally did. Their eyes were black and they were screaming out Annie's name. In a gruesome show, her friend's avatar then screamed as their character's head popped off. This is when Annie's avatar started acting out outside of her control, chopping up her friend's avatar. The ghost girl chimed in once more, laughing at the bloody exhibition. That's when the strangest thing happened. The body of the avatar came flying through her television, filling up her room with blood, bones, and guts. And at number 7, Error 666. Error Error666 comes from YouTube channel O1G. This story is about a gamer who, after turning on Fortnite, noticed that something seemed strange. 2 days prior, he had received an update for the game, and ever since installing it, things were really off. The screen kept flickering on and off, and despite changing his HDMI cord and looking at his PlayStation thoroughly, it still happened anyway. He assumed it was a bug, and his friends didn't have any problems either. Now, one night at 9 p.m., it got really bad. The game was distorting, the textures in the game had changed the color red, and it looked really hellish. His party chat sounded like demonic voices rather than the voices of his friends. He couldn't make out what they were saying, but their voices were violent and terrifying. That's when an error message popped up on his screen that read, "Error666. Please turn off the game." And that's where the creepypasta ends. Short and sweet, I guess? Moving on to number 6, The Emote. The Emote is a creepypasta by YouTuber SuperDanny200, and this was their very first creepypasta. So, well done. In the story, it was summertime and our protagonists had just gotten home from summer school. They turned on their PlayStation. Before getting into a match of Fortnite, they decided to check out the shop. That's where they found a brand new emote, but it was a little weird. There was no name or title and no description. In the emote card, the character was holding a bloody knife. Intrigued, they tried to preview it, and it was really intense. Their character, wearing the Vortex skin as per usual, raised a knife and stabbed an invisible character, and blood went everywhere. So he was like, hey, I'm just gonna buy it, having enough V-Bucks to afford it. From there, he headed over to a solo match, landing in Tilted Towers. Looking for loot, he placed a trap and managed to kill another player. In victory, he decided to use the bloody knife emote and just check it out. As soon as he did though, he heard cries and a demonic voice. The voice said, "I will hunt you down tonight. I know where you live." Freaked out, he left the match and decided to play something else. Later that night, he turned his PlayStation back on, only to hear the same demonic voice say, "I am back. There is no escape." He cried out, "Who's there?" And the voice answered, "Look out your window." To his shock and horror, he saw his character, wearing the Vortex skin as per usual, holding a bloody knife. Moving on to 5, Followed 2. It's a follow-up. Get it? Because it's followed? Yeah, I'll be here all week, guys. Anywho, this is another one from Flip the Script, and if you haven't, you should head on over there and watch Followed, because this is the second part to it. Or check out our Creepypastas Part 1 list to find out what it's all about before listening to this number. Followed 2 tells the story of Carter, who was the head detective on the Followed case. Still wanting to solve the case, he sought out 2 individuals who were known to deal with video game related cases, who go by the names of Chris and Jay in the story. Chris and Jay came into town and Carter picked them up from the airport. At the police station, they read the coroner's report. They decided to pay the deceased victim's mother a visit. After finding what appeared to be suspicious evidence, they take the mother down to the station to question. Both Jay and Chris, after talking to her, believe that the death of the gamer was not supernatural as they initially thought, but rather that the mother and her boyfriend had killed the boy. That night, they stake out the boyfriend's house while waiting for the warrant to take a look. The next morning inside the house, what they find is eerie. There's a recording that repeats the phrase, "I dare you to kill me," over and over again. There's a bunny rabbit suit. And in the trash, there's a ski mask. Boyfriend is then charged for murder. Carter ends off the story by saying that sometimes creepy and scary isn't always supernatural. Sometimes the scariest thing of all is finding out that the people that we trust can create the worst horrors. Moving on to number 4, the smoke grenade. This one comes from YouTube channel Mr. Squidzle. It tells of the smoke grenade weapon that was removed from the game a little while back. The protagonist of the story woke up one morning and booted up Fortnite to discover that the smoke grenades were back in the game and available to use in a limited time game mode for solos. He thought this was really weird, because this rarely happens. So anywho, he gave it a go, and starting the match, nothing looked different. As he progressed, he found smoke grenades in a chest, but they were kinda odd. There was no rarity, no info, nothing showing up above them, but he grabbed them anyway. That's when he noticed that one of his favorite Twitch streamers was also in the same match as him, having the stream playing on the side on his phone while he was playing Fortnite. Excited, he kept moving, hoping to cross paths with them eventually. Shortly afterwards, he came upon some other players and used the smoke grenades, but didn't manage to get any damage on them. As he quickly reloaded, he noticed that the players he threw the smoke grenades at had completely disappeared after the smoke cleared. He didn't see them run away, and he didn't get to see them be eliminated either. Next thing he knew, on the side feed it said the username of the player he had just attacked, along with something that said they had been taken by the smoke. But he thought again, I didn't see an elimination. So he kept moving, and he used the grenades again later on, and the same thing happened. In the feed it said the player was taken by the smoke. Finally, it was the end of the game. And lucky for him, it was him versus the Twitch streamer. The two go at it, they build a bunch of stuff, shoot at each other, and then he decides to use the smoke grenade on him. He disappears. No elimination shows up, but the victory royale is announced. Feeling quite proud, he looks over to the Twitch streamer's stream that he had on his phone to see the reaction. Instead, he saw smoke rising around the streamer in real life, that filling up his room. The streamer started to scream, and then when the smoke cleared, he was gone. Moving on to number 3, the Ghost of Haunted Hills. This one comes from YouTube channel Creepypasta.com, presented by Eric Alden. This one dives into a mystery about Fortnite discovered by a player who wanted to see what all the hype surrounding the game was about. After watching hours on Twitch, he tried it out himself and downloaded it. His first game was awful, and he was knocked out of the match pretty much immediately. This happened quite a few times too, so he decided to look up a tutorial on YouTube and get some tips on how to not die right from the get-go. This one tutorial suggested that new players should land on the outskirts of the map, somewhere like Haunted Hills, so that's what our protagonist did, and it helped quite a bit. He managed to place in the top 10 in his first game after the tutorial, so he kept landing there every single match. By 4 AM, he decided to head to bed, satisfied and really excited about playing Fortnite again. 2 weeks later, he was still playing Fortnite, but after every few games he started to notice something. Whenever he landed at Haunted Hills, he kept seeing something out of the corner of his eye, but each time, he was alone. No one else was around him. He figured it was a glitch. He even recorded his gameplay once, but even then, when watching back, at the moments where he swore he saw something, nothing was there on the recording. So he did some research on Haunted Hills and found out that the location was actually suggested by a player, and Epic Games liked the suggestion so much that they actually put it in the game. The original suggestion post featured a drawing, and after doing some more research, the player discovered that the drawing was also used in another post by the same poster to describe his PTSD about his family dying, and how this was the location where they died and what it looked like. Our protagonist naturally freaked out a little bit about how dark of a backstory Haunted Hills had, but that's when he realized that maybe what he was seeing out of the corner of his eye were the ghosts of this guy's dead family members. Moving on to number 2, Fear in the Fields. Another one from Flip the Script here. This creepypasta is told entirely in a demonic voice. The voice states how it used to be so lonely, but now it sees all of the victories, the defeats, everything in Fortnite. It can hear everything players say, the fights they have over Mike, the cheers they shout when they win, the sadness when they lose, and the voice of mothers telling them to get off the game. Everything. But they've also heard worse things too. They recount multiple stories, one of which includes a player who got into a fight with their mother. The mother screamed at the player to get off Fortnite, but the player wanted to keep going. That's when they heard the flames. The mother shouted that the house was on fire. He heard the mother tried to get the gamer off, but then they were engulfed by flames. He heard the sound of the house collapsing around them. Another time, he heard a player go AFK as their father beat them to a pulp and they cried. They say that they hear the good and the bad, so next time you pass through their fields, fear not. The voice may be your only witness, listening in on whatever has happened to you. Overall, this one scores big points for the creepy demonic voice, so definitely go give it a listen if you want the full scare, guys. And finally, in at number 1, The Raven. Lastly, we have yet another one from Flip the Script called The Raven. The Raven is pretty popular, with over 277,000 views. So, what's it about? The protagonist of this story tells of how they were so excited to get the Raven skin, and when it finally came out, they were overjoyed to use it, playing for hours on end with it. Eventually, it was time for bed though. But that's when their night went from great to worse. They had a dream that the Raven broke into their bedroom, hovered over them, and murdered them. Jolting awake, they looked around the room, collecting their bearings. But that's when they noticed that a pair of purple eyes were glowing back at them from across the room. The player heard a voice say, "Nevermore." He thinks he's still dreaming. But then the eyes got closer and closer until he saw the whole body of the figure, revealing that it was none other than the Raven. The Raven said once again, "Nevermore." That's when the player's Xbox flickers on and turns on Fortnite. Without realizing what he's doing, he gets out of bed and begins to play the game, loading in solos. He's crying, unable to move his body, panicking. He goes to Tomato Town, deciding to play it safe since he's afraid of what will happen if he loses. The Raven watches on, staring at him intently. The player, running to make it out of the storm, is then sniped and knocked out of the match. That's when his TV goes static. Slowly, he turns to look at the Raven. Raven lets out a piercing scream and then says, "Nevermore." This is when the player blacks out. Next thing he knows, he wakes up in the hospital. The doctor there told him that he was the victim of a house robbery. A robber broke into the home and beat him, shot him, and left him near death. Confused, the player asks questions, but the doctor says that he'll go get his attending doctor to talk to him through his upcoming surgeries. A look of confusion still sits across the player's face. So before the doctor leaves the room, he tries to comfort the player by saying, "Don't worry, Dr. Nevermore is great." Alright, there we have it, guys. So what are your thoughts on all the Fortnite creepypastas that we've talked about so far on our lists? Which ones were your favorites? And which ones did you not really like? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. If you haven't seen part 1 or part 2 of this list, be sure to head on over to our channel and click the playlist currently flashing on your screen to check them out, and check out our other videos too. And feel free to subscribe and hang out with us some more. In the meantime though, thanks for watching everybody. I'll catch you on the next video.